Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged, USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had. Probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner, 714-948-0100, 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. All right, this is a special episode. This is our 9-year anniversary show. That's right, 9-year anniversary show. Yes! Of course, that always gets my patented yes. You know why? Because 9 years and thousands of shows later, we're still doing it here on the circus. Just when we were told, and I remember way back in the day, at the Fox affiliate right here in Las Vegas, where we started this show, back on December 3rd of 2016. The first show was a disaster. The next one wasn't very good. The next one after that was a little bit better. They said, you're not any good. You're not going to be any good. That kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Over time, the show has gotten pretty darn good. And after that initial 6-month contract and a very expensive pay-to-play contract with those guys locally, we ended up moving over to KMZQ 670 The Score, which was SB Nation at the time. And that was in May. In fact, our first day over there was May 15th of 2017. And they gave us the 5 o'clock slot. But remember, apparently, I don't know, I guess we weren't any good, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Well, that's what we were told by the local Fox affiliate. Well, apparently, we still are not very good because yet we are still on the air. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, their shows and their personalities, some of their people, are still following the circus today. That's right. And what I find funny about it is that although they may be listening to the show, they may be watching the show, they may be taking or lifting some of the content from the show, I mean, honestly, I don't really care because everybody has their own style in which what they do. And frankly, if they have their own style, isn't that what, to me, that's what's important. It's why I don't listen to other shows for the most part, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to sound like other shows. So back in the day, Fox had told me, the producer, his name was Bobby. Bobby told me, he goes, well, you know, we want you to do rapid fire type of content. Well, that was the same thing as guys like John Tornauer, JT the Brick. He does a great job. I like John. And then also like Pardon the Interruption, another good show. That's a very good show on television. I do like that one. A couple of guys, basically given each subject 2 or 3 minutes or whatever, then they're moving on. And I remember Bobby had told me, well, why don't you just go ahead and run through this? We'll take maybe 1 minute through 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So basically a minute, 15 seconds on one subject. Then you spend maybe 70 seconds on another, 120 seconds on another. And it just got to be so overwhelming. And show prep wasn't worth it because you couldn't even take a dive into the content in the first place, which poses a really big problem. So a lot of the shows that are out there today, they sound the same. And this is a problem because you could flip from show to show to show. And it seems, in my opinion, that they just don't develop the content as it probably should be developed. And frankly, I don't see how that is really doing the audience any justice because let's face it, if you just want quick, rapid fire, or whatever, then you can just go to pick your favorite streaming source and you can get the same content there. Now, if you want somebody to read it for you, I mean, there are apps that will actually read the content for you aloud, not to be confused with out loud. They'll read it for you aloud, and you can even adjust the speed to how much time you actually want to spend on these subjects. So that's not why you're tuning in here today and listening to this, because honestly, that's not what we do here. No, what we want to do is get a subject. We want to develop the subject and give you something to really think about. So maybe something happened in the world of sports today, whatever that is. And maybe it was a story that had a multifaceted approach to it in real life, but whoever wrote the story, the article that you may have read, only touched upon maybe one, possibly two of the points, maybe a backstory of sorts, but there may be an underlying driver to the story itself. And what I'm trying to do, and what I've been doing for years, 9 of them to be exact, is I've been developing the content so you actually hear the real story, or even when there's a guest on. And God knows we've had lots and lots and lots of guests. In fact, in the next segment, I'll probably play a partial list of that. It probably runs for quite a while. But anyway, there's a lot of guests on here. But my point is, the guests, I will get them talking in ways that, well, they're not used to having the freedom to speak what they speak or to tell the story. Most of the time, it's the same standard 10 questions or something to the effect. And that's usually what happens on show to show to show because, well, the sponsor time is money. We can only give them 2 minutes and 11 seconds or whatever the hell it is to say X and whatever. Then we have to move on to the next subject. And that's the one thing I never wanted to do is to sound like everybody else and have their format. So in the 9 years this program has been on, it's just crazy to imagine. I've done thousands of these shows. In that time, what has happened is, we've had a turnover in different partners for the show, different sponsors, different stations, lots and lots of different stations. In fact, the irony of it is the stations seem to change formats. So one will go from sports, and then it'll go to music, then it'll go to another kind of music, then it'll go to a particular political spin of talk or something like that. And then maybe it might revert back to sports because they can't figure out how to sell that station, how to sell the minutes and whatnot for advertising. So they constantly switch the format. And this show has actually outlasted many stations and them flipping the format for money. And that is a pretty cool business model. And in fact, that's how this show started. It started off as a business model. And honestly, I started off as one of 5 people on a show on ESPN. And I happened to be kind of a sideshow. But I ended up, after a certain amount of time, they said, well, you know what? This guy's good enough and let's keep him around. And honestly, it's been, for me, the developing of a model as building companies is one model, but realizing that as you build companies, each company has its own structure. Well, starting a show is its own model, but the structure within the model is where I'm going, because remember, all these other shows, well, they're all business models too. But this particular one, this program airs on commercial and non-commercial stations. So that's why I'll say today's show is brought to you in part by, this segment is brought to you in part by. You'll hear me say that in the next segment. It's because this show cannot have a call to action when it comes to advertising. If there's a call to action, we used to have a program or a commercial for a legal organization, and it used to be where I would say in our read, for less than $1 a day, your legal troubles essentially would go away, or whatever the hell the read was. But we don't do that because that's a call to action. You're talking about $1, so we can't do that. There are a lot of nuances for news shows and whatnot that they don't understand how terrestrial works, being your real FCC airwaves. People in today's time are so used to using the proverbial podcast model where they say whatever they want, they go for as long as they want, or maybe they do have hard breaks, but they can get away with whatever they want to because, well, frankly, there's no regulating body on the podcast in the first place. And so the problem is with those, you got to go out and find them. It's not as if they're carried on this radio station, this TV station, or whatever. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But you'd have to find them on a streaming platform. We stream our shows, but we stream them only on a stored audio and video side. They're not on those streaming online platforms, period. No, that's only for storage. This is a terrestrial radio and television show, and we're actually celebrating the 9-year anniversary of the Sports Circus back here in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on this show.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes, are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door. store without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio. That's AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, CSNCoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, CSNCoyotes.com. And folks, by the way, they have been with us since the very, very beginning back on December 3rd of 2016. A nice round of applause for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics and their long-standing partnership with the Sports Circus. A very well-deserved round of applause. And of course, welcome back to everybody on TV and radio. And we want to have a special welcome, of course, to our friends driving along Interstate 15 between LA and Las Vegas, listening in on Highway Country Radio 101.5 FM and 107.3 FM. That's home of the Vegas Golden Knights, the Raiders, and the Sports Circus at 7 p.m. Big hello to our friends over in Honolulu. They've been with us for a very, very long time on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the 49ers, home of the Yankees, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, all those up and down the Midwest, all the way down to Auburn, Alabama, WAUD 1230 on the AM dial. That is home of the Atlanta Braves. Thanks for driving home with us at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And a special shout to our friends. Thanks for waking up with us over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM, plus all of our other affiliates. There have been many, many, many past, present, and future, but we have some enormous news coming out that I can't talk about just yet, and you'll have to read the press release. It's coming out real soon. And, of course, nice round of applause for everybody that has been listening to us for all the years as well. All right, now, that said, you know, we've had some really fun shows, great shows with really good guests. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a partial guest list so you could see the impact and the scope of what we've had on the show, who we've had on the show. And this is a who's who for anybody regarding the television or radio world or even those blasted podcasters out there. The point is, if you can compile a list like this, something tells me you've probably done something pretty good over the years. And mind you, this is only a partial list. This certainly doesn't give the full spectrum or the full picture. But we're going to play this for you. And so hopefully you'll get a better understanding if you're just tuning in for the first time. And if you're not, you'll recognize these voices. You'll certainly recognize the names. Let's have some fun with this.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, here with Bill Clement. We have special guests
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
billionaire Jeff Hoffman, Mike Golick, Tom Flores,
John Stockton, Big Rocky Dave Ortiz,
David Meltzer, Jim Tunney, Roger Craig,
Andre Reed,
Mario Andretti,
Herschel Walker,
Roy Firestone,
Eric Dickerson,
Mike Haynes,
Kevin Green,
Brian Urlacher,
Jim Jeffcoat,
Rod Jaworski,
Al Bubba Baker,
Steve Carby,
Brett Saberhagen,
Jack McDowell,
Denny McClain, Yank Barry, Brandmere,
Paul Dvorsky,
President of the Vegas Golden Knights, George McPhee,
Len Komorowski, CEO of Cavaliers,
Blake Greenwood, Mickey Suda,
Art Steele,
Tom Beebe,
Ken Solomon,
Tom Dreesen,
Pat O'Connor, Alan Glist, 43 Tony Awards,
Mike Crawford, President and CEO of the Hall of Fame,
Louis Viola, President, Paramount Famous Production, Universal Worldwide Home Entertainment, Universal Studios Home Entertainment, Glenn Berman, Randy Funk,
Professor Dr. Tommy John, Dave Roberts, Pat Williams, Brandon Schneider, Henry Bibby,
Mike Bibby,
Tim Donaghy,
Dan Hughes,
Marcus Johnson,
George Lynn,
Larry Center, Steve Berlander,
Dr. Jen Welter,
Steve Ladder,
Craig Colquitt,
Paul Shortino,
My life is just a party and parties weren't meant to last. Dickerson,
Jason Hook, guitar player for Five Finger Death Punch,
Craig Bartok, lead guitar player, songwriter for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Heart.
Sidney Justin from the Miracles. My name is Curtis Blow. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. I'm here on the Sports Circus.
Vinny from the Bronx Wanderers.
Mark Schulman, drummer for Pink Cher, Velvet Revolver, Stevie Nicks, Sheryl Crow, Simple Minds, Richard Mark,
Aaron Fink, Breaking Benjamin,
Jason Hartlett, drummer for rock legend Ted Nugent, Matt Starr, drummer for Ace Frehley from Kiss,
Rockstar, Todd Kearns,
Bill Buckman, the bass player in the rock band Fuel,
Gino Leonardo, former guitarist for the band Filter,
Dave Laurie,
Neil Donnell from the band Chicago.
This is Brad Gillis from the band Night Ranger. And
Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult.
Philip Bailey, 8-time Grammy Award winner.
Reasons, the reasons that we're here.
Top 100 greatest drummers of all time.
Kenny Aronoff with John Fogerty, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and Elton John, Stevie Wonder, Dave Grohl, Joe Walsh, John Mellencamp.
John Deddy, drummer for Player, Anthrax, Testament, Volbeat.
Mitch Malloy, I'm the lead singer of Great White.
Pete Thorne with Chris Cornell, Melissa Etheridge,
Rob Mount, drums with Lou Gramm,
Philip Schaus, I play guitar with Accept, I play bass guitar for Ace Frehley,
Todd Morris from The Offspring,
Ty Dennis, The Doors,
Eric Aldenius from Bill Adams,
Red Jones, bass player for Vontae, Steelheart, Fuel, Michael Schenker Group.
This is Josie Scott from Josie Scott's Saliva.
Adam Curry of Candlebox,
Marky Mark with Foundry Rocks,
Brian Trock,
Travis Cormier,
Scotty McClellan,
4-time Grammy Award winner,
Chris Christian,
Jay Ramsey,
Heidi Merrill,
country music artist Jason Owens,
Vince Van Patten,
Daniel Negreanu,
Greg Fossilman Raymer,
Billy Hayes,
Foz Davis,
CJ Watson,
Rashad Phillips, Dr. Kristen Willemeyer,
NASA astronauts, Mike Millay,
Anthony Davis,
George Stark, Dwayne Starks,
Brian Mitchell,
Rick Upchurch,
Willie Rofe,
Jim Fossil,
Dwayne Clemens,
Eddie Meter, Chief Schrader, Pepper Johnson,
Andre Bad Moon, a.k.a. Rise,
Brian Jordan,
Bill Romanowski,
Dwight Hicks, Jason McKee,
Michael Keller,
Fred Mitchell,
Barty Appel,
Tim Rando,
Tom Brenneman,
Craig Colquitt,
Dustin Colquitt,
Britton Colquitt, Barry Katz,
Brad Williams,
Dennis Blair,
Arthur Sarkisian,
Dean Edwards,
Emmett Short,
Jason Acevedo,
Miss Christina Smith,
Bruce Nahan,
Lee Haney,
Rick Barry, Cowboy Ninja, Lance Peakus, Andrew Williams,
Don Most here,
Kevin Sorbo here,
yes,
Dr. Peter McCullough,
Damian Jackson, ex-Navy SEAL,
Margaret Kelly, Tinkerbell,
Stephanie Stuckey, CEO of Stuckey's Corporation.
Bruce Perlowan, founder, Marijuana Inc., Medical Marijuana Inc., Hemp Inc.
Glenn Gardone, president of Red Chocolate,
Ronnie Nunn,
Belgian Henderson,
Jack Llewellyn, board psychologist,
Susie Hellmaker,
Alexander Bardot Pinto,
Bill O'Brien,
Brad Server, grandson of Curly Howard from the Three Stooges,
Rob Ryder,
Chris Kemper,
Aaron Rowan, Greg Olson,
Art Kushner,
Jose Rio in the house,
Kirk Bavacqua here,
Greg Olson,
Matt Joyce, Jim Lambert,
Mike Hollis,
Brad Coleman,
Burst, Sam Panamos,
Vance Johnson,
Donnie Shale, Mark Collins,
Brandy Grimes,
Larry Bubber, Cole,
Larry Foote, best coordinator with Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Jared Bunch,
Eddie Murray,
Wesley Woodyard,
Dexter Irvin, Colin Fraser, Andrew Ladd,
Dustin Penner,
Dave Jackson, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey,
Brian Killingsworth,
Bart Oates, Don Horn, Ryan McNeil, Von Kirkland,
Chucky Okobe,
Jackie Sherrill, Eddie Meter,
EJ Speed,
Dusty Wooten, Dave Merhar,
Pete Todd, Bob Grant,
Dan Pastorini, Mark Fleming, Brad Hopkins, Lee Steinberg, Steve Watson, Dan Vincenzo, Mitzi Dolan, Karen Laurie,
Shanae Stiletto,
Bo Campbell,
Glenn Elmore,
Mark Eaton from the Utah
Utah Jazz.
Charles Smith, Rich Cho,
Chucky Brown, Aubrey Hunt,
Jock Joe,
Bobby V,
Scott Spezio,
Mandy Van Slyke,
Matt Starr, Dr. George Gauthier,
Very sure.
Jesse Sapolo, Dana Stubblefield,
Jeff Rago,
John Nyland.
Jeff Jagger,
Gino Toretta,
Jim O'Brien. Kerry Justin. JT Thompson. Jim Everett.
John McLaren,
Brad Boone,
Mel Stoudemire.
Alan Massengale, Vantico Dawson, Kurt Sandoval,
Matt Greshia.
Bailey Brom, Leonard Marshall, Gary Reasons,
Doug Plank,
Walt Harris,
Everson Walls,
Jim McNally,
Shemi Schembeckler,
Kurt Walker, Leroy Irvin,
Icky Wood, Tyrone Poole,
Alicia Thompson, Chris Duhonker, Scott Petrick, Bruce Crampton, Butch Baird, Joe Koff, Kristen Rhodes,
John Driscoll,
Mayor Carolyn Goodman,
John Lee, Mayor of North Las Vegas.
Amy Wilson.
Nick Mackay, voice of Salem Saberhagen, the talking cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
the father of the first family of drag racing,
John Ford,
Ricky Stenhouse.
Ben Brost, the voice of stock car racing.
Robbie Wells, seeking the Democratic nomination for President of the United States.
Jim Strasser, founder and CEO of Cali Strong, the California Sports Company, CEO of LA Gear, Nike, Oakley, Quicksilver, owner partners at Converse,
Greg Pryor,
Shea Hillebrand,
Carl McDowell, Jamie Baker,
Carlos Munoz,
Darius Kasparaitis.
Dominic Rousseau.
Earl Christie.
Emery Moorhead,
Kyle Turley,
Dave Robinson, Gus Perot,
Jeff Bryant,
Leroy Irvin, Eric Hipple,
Mike Kaminsky,
Matt Doherty,
Greg Kite,
Dan Clark. Nitro. American Gladiator.
Manny Sanguin, Emery Moorhead,
Ricky Ellis,
Kylie Washington.
Vince Workman,
Brett Lashbrook.
Chesty LaRue, Scotty Graham, John Robinson, Chris Dishman, Gary Robinson, Catcher Bill,
Steve Sachs,
Ward Brewster,
Randy Barnes.
Anastasia Valentine, Daryl Evans, Big Theo Ratliff,
Dr. Edwards. Adrian Goodson.
Cedric Tony, Ricky Pierce,
James Donaldson,
Rusty Spindell, Carl Mecklenburg, Mark Hillier,
Toy Cook,
Mercury Morris,
Eric Davis, Thomas Hollywood Henderson,
Harold Jackson.
Chris Lacey,
I'm Eric Biggert,
Dennis Rappaport.
Rich Murata,
Steve Lott.
Michelle Corrales-Lewis.
Brace, the Beast, Aleem,
Joe Cortez, Mark Catholic, Christopher,
Caleb Sweetenhands Plant,
Bronco Billy Ride. That is an incredible list. Absolutely, folks.
If I was your mother and you had a drug problem, I'd grab you by the ear and make you call and get help. You can be in treatment tomorrow and start to get clean in 7 days. Follow Mom's advice and call the Detox and Treatment Helpline now. Write this number down.
800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. 800-814-8628. That's 800-814-8628.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. That's 800-426-4994.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. That's 800-876-7041.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, recorded shows, and of course, all of our partners as well. By the way, those recorded shows can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, plus a whole bunch of others. Just want to make sure I mention that. Also, before I get to the partners, be sure to check out Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Chicago Food Favorites, a fun group. Talk about your favorite foods, your favorite restaurants, your favorite recipes. Make some friends, have some fun. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. All right, and also back to the partners page at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great partners over there. And look, we've talked about all of them, from Icky Woods to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for his book, to Pat Williams' book, to all of our automotive partners and the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, and great music by Blue Oyster Cult, great music by Jason Owens, and all kinds of kicking academies, Jeff Jaeger, etc. and so forth. Lots of great organizations. But our favorite one out of all of those is Al's Number One Italian Beef at 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. Check them out at alsbeef.com. If you can't get over there for some great food over there in Little Italy in Chicago, tell you what, folks, it is good. I talk about it all the time. And it is literally, they are the creators of this incredible sandwich. They've been around, since 1938. They started in 1938. They put the sandwich together for the first time in, well, it was 117 years ago. You do the math. Anyway, great food. And I have to tell you, you can get your supply through the mail, through Federal Express, actually, not through the U.S. mail. And everything is served fresh. And listen, I don't get anything for saying this. It's just really bleeping good food. It's that good. Check them out at alsbeef.com. If you're not in Chicagoland, that's alsbeef.com. All right, lots of applause being handed out today. And by the way, if you're pretty good at trivia, you may want to pay attention to this one. So our friends over at Vacation Buddies are giving away a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas, or in Branson, Missouri, or in Orlando, Florida, if you know the answer to this very simple trivia question. Now, if you're paying attention here, you'll be able to answer this one very quickly. Which of these three is the correct answer? How many years has the Sports Circus been on the air? Is it A, 7 years, B, 9 years, C, 11 years? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. And again, Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with the station, but they want to give you a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas, Branson, Missouri, or Orlando, Florida, if you know the answer to this simple trivia question. And if so, call 888-576-5777. So we've had lots of fun segments on the show, and not too long ago we did a best of. And I'm not really sure that we actually have several of those different mishmashes. They call those montages, right? So we have several of those because there's so many really good shows that we've done. It's not because it's our show. It's just that they've been funny. They've had funny pieces in them or surprising pieces in them. So one of those pieces in them, and this is one of our other programs, part of our library of shows. This piece was taken and put together specifically for, well, you'll hear the guest. Where I'm going to play this for you, and it was Roy Firestone, the great Roy Firestone, talking about some of his interest, and he likes to sing and so forth. And actually, it was about Roy, a show that he did. And it was a follow-up to a show that Roy Firestone did. In fact, it was the first show. He's done several with us. It was the first show that Roy Firestone did with us. I want to say it was back in 2018. But in any event, something cool kind of came out of it. And so after we did the show with Roy, then this piece happened. So I'm going to play this for you. This is pretty fun stuff, folks. Let's take a call. And we've got coming in, I believe, from Arizona. Sid, are you with us?
It's me. I'm here. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
So I just got home, and so I thought I'd give you a call right quick, see how you doing, Sal. You okay?
Everything's great. Hey, why don't you identify yourself for all the listeners out there?
Yeah, this is Sidney Justin from the Miracles.
All right. And so you took the mic over from Smokey Robinson, didn't you, about 23 years ago?
Yeah, you could say that.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Did you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? And that was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
It was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Why don't can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby, and let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone?
You know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart ran out to play, but in the game I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. How's that, man?
That's
Is that
incredible.
okay? Is that good enough?
That's incredible.
Fantastic.
You know why? Because that's what you do. You're in the incredible business, Sid.
Yeah, man. This has been a lot of fun for me, coming off that gridiron and then actually getting into the music business has been quite an adventure.
Yeah, man, that was incredible. What a fun show that was with Sidney Justin from the Miracles. And he's a good friend of the show. He's just a really good guy. And we've had his other mates on the show as well. We've had Eric Swindle, a very, very good friend, and he's one of the backup singers for the Miracles as well. And so is Kerry Justin, Sid's brother. And I have to tell you, these are great guys. And boy, we have been incredibly fortunate to have people sing on the show. And you heard of the guest list I played in the last segment. There have been many people that sang. We even got Philip Bailey, 8-time Grammy Award winner, the voice for Earth, Wind, and Fire. He was singing on the show. Of course, Roy Firestone even sang on the show as well, which was super cool. But we've had even Brad Gillis from Night Ranger give a little bit of music. And boy, we just Todd Kern's one of our favorites. And Todd is out there. You heard me say rock star, Todd Kearns. So Todd
plays rhythm guitar, and he will play some lead, and he also plays bass for Slash and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. And this guy not only looks like it, he sounds like it. He is a bona fide rock star. We've had so many of them on here. And then, yeah, of course, you take guys like Buck Dharma from Blue Oyster Cult. And Buck, you just see him out on the road or on the street. You'd never know who he is. But, man, the guy could sing. The guy plays guitar like no one's business. And it's cool to know these people just on a regular. And that's what I like about this. They may be superstars in music or film. Never mind all the sports stars and whatnot that we've had on the show. It has been so much fun. And what a great learning experience. I've gotten a chance to speak to, obviously, superstar Grammy Award winners, Academy Award winners from the film business, political candidates, people that are deeply tied into politics, whether they're mayors or whether they're in the current administration and so forth. And it has just been a lot of fun. Billionaire business people, and of course, all your champions from football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I think we even had one from kettlebell. Believe it or not, we have from kettlebell back in 2017. Roller derby champions in 2017 as well, and even pickleball champions. That's right, the great Rick Barry. Rick's a friend of the show, and Rick, I think, is the #1 pickleball player in his age group in the world. I remember he was telling me about pickleball, years ago. And sure enough, boy, we've had them all on here. It's been so much fun. And, well, needless to say, 9 years is certainly not enough to have everybody on. I think the great Roy Firestone had 5,000 plus guests for all of his interviews and many, many years and just decades and whatnot. And someday, we're not going to try to catch up to anybody. We're just doing our own thing here. But Roy is a moving and ongoing model of excellence in which to follow. Roy Firestone always deserves an incredible round of applause. And Roy also is a really good, really fun cabaret act as well. So if you don't know anything about that, check him out. And of course, special thanks to our friend Barry Katz. And Barry Katz is kind of on the Mount Rushmore of the management world for guys like Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle and Wanda Sykes and so forth and so on. Check out BarryKatz.com. Barry is a good friend of the circus. And tell you what, just loads and loads of these. Back here with the final segment of this anniversary show. Don't go anywhere.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. 800-298-3173. That's 800-298-3173.
Owning great property is almost impossible these days. At least, that's what people keep saying. They don't know about National Premier Properties. Do you have $350 or a credit card? You can own a great piece of property in a resort community. National Premier Properties has over 51 years of experience helping people just like you purchase amazing properties across the U.S. and in Mexico, Canada, the Bahamas. It takes less than 5 minutes to turn your dream into reality. Visit nationalpremierproperties.com and make it happen now.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. B-E-E-P-I-N autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com again for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, recorded shows, which could be found on all streaming platforms. And also, check out the store at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great items at the store: hats, hoodies, t-shirts, coats, sweatpants, and jackets, and pillows, and mouse pads, and coffee mugs, and travel mugs, all with the clever Sports Circus logo on them. Secure transactions right through the browser as well. Listen, folks, we've been doing this for a long time. I'm not going to tell you how many years. You have to go back to the beginning of the show to get that one, because that's part of our trivia question. But again, mention my name, Ringmaster Sal, for an extra 10% off of everything at thesportscircus.com. And speaking of which, when it came to that trivia question, I'm going to repeat it in case you're just tuning in right now. Which of these is the correct answer? This is an anniversary show for the Sports Circus. There are three choices. You tell me how many years the Sports Circus has been on the air, and then you can call the telephone number after it for a couple of nights in Las Vegas, Branson, Missouri, or Orlando, Florida. Here's the question. Which of these three is the time, the amount of years the Sports Circus has been on the air? Is it A, 7 years, B, 9 years, C, 11 years? If you know the answer, call 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777, 888-576-5777. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with the station. However, they want to give you a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas, Branson, Missouri, or Orlando, Florida. 888-576-5777. Call now. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Back to our anniversary show. And listen, folks, there are a lot of good things that happen on the show, and we don't fix anything in the mix. And so whatever's out there is out there. If I have to clear my throat in the middle of it, so be it. If I have to, if I have to answer telephone calls or whatnot in the middle of it, because sometimes we do open the phone lines up. Yes, I have to take those calls. I have to say, all right, fine. But remember, if you call in, don't ask me how I'm doing. Hey, Ringmaster Sal, how are you? It doesn't matter how I am. Ask your question, because all TV and radio show hosts have to deal with the same thing over and over. And frankly, if you keep asking them, what that does is that burns at least 10 seconds off the clock. And when it comes to these shows, in case you don't know, any show on air, TV or radio, every second is inventory. Kind of like if you have a warehouse full of stuff. Well, the warehouse, for example, in our case, in a 1 hour show, which is really 59 minutes and 50 seconds, all of those seconds have a value. And they can be either sold to sponsors or they could be donated to nonprofit organizations or whatnot, used as public service announcements, whatever it is. So again, whatever's out there is out there. I don't fix it. I don't have to fix it. And honestly, if it sounds too good, then it's probably been fixed and it's been manipulated. And that's really not what we're after in the first place. Now, is it? We want a real show. And I've realized over time, I used to worry about over, I don't know, there's dead air. Maybe there's 3 seconds of dead air. Just like that. And you wonder, oh, geez, that's terrible. So all I did was I paused. And it's okay to pause, folks. How many times have you heard me say and in this conversation that I'm having with myself and you? Probably none, maybe one. The reality is, if you think about what you say, you're not going to have an issue, and you're going to sound a hell of a lot more believable, and B, you're going to sound more fluid, and you're going to retain your audience. I train people on how to handle themselves on air. And if you're interested, info@thesportscircus.com, and we can talk about it. info@thesportscircus.com. And just don't be like Mr. who's out of Kentucky. Good old Jerry. Jerry's a friend of the show. But Jerry likes to say, yini. He'll say 5 different varieties of Ultimately, they're all bad. But Jerry's a great guy. We like Jerry. We always give Jerry a little bit of hard time. But guess what? He's got thick skin. He can handle it. It's all in good fun anyway. But back to this anniversary show. Over the years that we've had some really fun content. And we've had some controversial moments as well. And don't think for a second we haven't had those, because we have. And I remember on the very first show I ever did, and it was a video version for the show. And it was actually before we did our first show on Fox 1340 here in Las Vegas. And it was, and it had to be the first minute of the show, the very first minute. The other party that I had with me made a very stupid remark about something completely unfounded. Walked in, egomaniac, a wannabe comic, literally to an audience of 9 or 3 or 10 or whatever. I've never seen him play in front of a big crowd. I've seen him play or seen him on stage. Not very good. It is what it is. I have my preferences. Everybody else does. Whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that literally in the first 45 seconds, we came to blows. It was right there. Because when somebody's ego gets out of line and they say, well, I'm the expert, you're not the expert, and don't try to be funny or some crap like that. When I'm not trying to be funny, so just sometimes I say funny things like everybody else. But when you have somebody going in there and belittling you right in the first minute of the show, it's so hard to contain yourself when you know physically you can handle yourself and you could certainly handle the other party. But you've just got to take the higher road. So things do happen and you've got to be able to get around them. I mean, even in arguably at that time, the highest profile show that I did when I brought on Lee Steinberg, and Lee Steinberg is the real life Jerry Maguire. He is the original sports agent. That movie Jerry Maguire was actually made about him. And I remember as Lenny was my part-time co-host. Lenny was on with me, and we were about to bring Lee in from the first break into the second segment, and the power went out in my building. I couldn't believe it. The power went out, and it took me probably about maybe 3 minutes to boot my machine back up, whatever. I had to call Lenny and tell him, hey, take it over, and I'm going to join right in. And you could probably look for Lee Steinberg back in, I believe it was January. Yeah, I think it was January of 2018. And you'll hear Lenny bring us back from the first break. And I jump in there, and you didn't even know that I was gone. It was just seamless. There was nobody coaching us. We just did what we thought we were supposed to do. And that's the cool thing about doing these shows, folks. You never know what's going to happen with them. And we've had people join in. I'm in the middle of a conversation, and the great Rick Barry joins us by chance, whatever. I'm talking to Mel Stoudemire Jr., And sure enough, Rick Barry happens to call in. Hey, Sal, what's going on? I'm like, hey, let me tie you into the show. And now Rick is a part of the show. And why was it significant? Because Rick was really close friends with Mel Stottlemyre Sr. And between Junior and Rick, they had a really cool conversation about fishing. Rick loves to fish. He's got his own fishing charter company and whatnot. And ironically, so does Mel. But the reality is, it was a fun conversation between Mel and Rick. And I just let them go about their business. And the dynamic was good. And I think it brought some closure to Mel. And the people loved it. The content was wonderful. And it's just one of those moments. You don't know what's going to happen. You really don't. And so as you look through the library of all the different shows, as far as the guests that we've had and so forth, some of them were exceptional. Some of them, the guests, I just scratched my head. I'm like, why am I still here? I mean, and we know sometimes you buy way too much than you can eat, or you put way too much on your plate. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. So if that's the case, in some cases the name looks really big, but sometimes the dialogue isn't very good because sometimes the guests just aren't that deep. And it's hard to engage them or get them going. I had that in music. I had it in sports. I had it in film. And I have to tell you, it sometimes is a little bit difficult and challenging, but these are the pieces that make you stronger at the outset. And so when I embark on my next series of a whole bunch of years, whatever, which we're doing right now, you take all that experience and say, all right, where were we weak? Where were we strong? How do we get better? And as we have spin-offs of the show and do additional shows, I have another show that's starting immediately. And I'm still going to be Ringmaster Sal on it. And I'm going to have the third segment of that particular show as being the sports circus. And it's going to expand this footprint incredibly. There will be a press release out on it in a very short time. So we'll go ahead and give you the details then, or where to find that press release. In fact, it'll probably be on pick your favorite television station or media outlet, whatever. And so usually our press releases can be found on CBS, NBC, Fox, ABC, and pick your favorite affiliate. It doesn't matter. Our stuff is out there. Even the super stations, WGN or TNT or TBS or whatnot, those types of stations, KTLA in Los Angeles or WPAX in New York and whatnot. So you'll be able to read about our upcoming news, and it's legit. There is probably, I think we have about maybe 15 releases. We don't put them out too often, and they can be found, I believe, on the About page. In fact, I'm quite certain that's where they're at. So on the About page for the Sports Circus, you could read about our expansion. You could see that we were the ones. I was the one that actually broke the Yankees signing Aaron Boone as their manager back on December 1st of 2017. I just happened to have Brett Boone on the show, and Brett gave us the information. What a great show we had there. And Brett wouldn't even take the phone calls from Aaron, wouldn't take them from his dad, wouldn't take them from his mom, because he said, look, I'm on the show with you. I'm on the show. That's it. I'm not going to take anything from any phone calls from anybody else. So we've just been able to have some really special moments on here. And I want to thank everybody that has been a part of this show, from the Human Cannonball to Sideshow Bob going way back in the day, Big Theo Ratliff, Alicia Thompson, and Bronco Billy Wright, and Long Beach Lenny, Tyrone Poole, two-time Super Bowl champion, and American Ninja Warrior. And geez, just the list goes on and on and on. We've had a great time here on the show, and I want to thank you, the audience, for being a part of something very special to me. Thank you. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. We'll see you in about 23 hours right here on your favorite station. So until then, so long, everyone.
Owning great property is almost impossible these days. At least, that's what people keep saying. They don't know about National Premier Properties. Do you have $350 or a credit card? You can own a great piece of property in a resort community. National Premier Properties has over 51 years of experience helping people just like you purchase amazing properties across the U.S. and in Mexico, Canada, the Bahamas. It takes less than 5 minutes to turn your dream into reality. Visit nationalpremierproperties.com and make it happen now.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.